should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Hello, Cherries fans, and the day has finally come. It is the Premier League fixture release day. The release of the fixtures is imminent, and I'm joined by Malcolm. Malcolm, good morning. How are you doing?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, all good, thanks. You?
Excellent. And we have got Liverpool on Friday, the 15th of August at 8 p.m. We are the opening game for the Premier League this season. So, yes, that is our first game. Trip to the Champions then, Malcolm. Tough test for the first game of the season. Can't get any tougher, really, apart from possibly maybe City.
Wow. Just wow. You got to play them all. But what a way to start. What a way to start. Hey, that is brilliant. Really, I've got goosebumps now.
Yeah. Well, another interesting fixture for that weekend as well is on the Sunday tea time. Manchester United will be hosting Arsenal, so that'd be a nice, tasty fixture for the opening weekend as well. Bournemouth will be playing at Anfield on Friday, the 15th of August, with a kickoff time of 8 p.m. That's our first fixture. So we shall now take a look more in depth at the other fixtures. Bear with 1 second, and here we go. Right, so obviously, like I just said, Liverpool first game of the season on the Friday night. We then will be hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers on the 23rd of August, before a trip to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to obviously face Tottenham. Obviously, fixtures are subject to change, obviously due to TV coverage and internationals and whatever else that's chucked in there during the season. But yeah, that's what's scheduled for August. So Liverpool away, Wolves at home, and Spurs away. Malcolm, not a bad, I think bad opening run. There's just points that you should be able to get there, surely.
Well, I think the first thing you have to think about is, with the transfer window still running.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to judge. Obviously, with Wolves, you've got Kuna's gone to Manchester. Others could be at the door. Look at Liverpool and who they brought in. I'm sorry, but I think they're the team to beat. They are the team to beat. Obviously, if Milos goes, what a start that'll be.
Yeah.
Tottenham with a new manager. Who are they going to get in? It is very much up in the air at the moment. It's like I said, it's nice to see the fixtures. I love it. People can start planning, whether they're holidays or whatever. Yes, subject to change, like you said.
Yes.
But it's interesting times. But obviously, keep your feet on the ground. Transfer window runs till 1st of September. uh, which isn't my favourite idea anyway. You know, the league's already started and you still got another couple of weeks. So,
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. It's a funny one, isn't it? Like the league's already started, but we're still doing transfers. I've always been a believer that the transfer window should shut, at the latest, probably the day before the season starts. Yeah, I've always thought it was a bit strange that we could still transfer throughout the September. I'm sure there's reasons for it. If you know what the reasons are for that and you're in the chat, please pop it in the chat. But just on that note, just before we move on, Malcolm, look at September, let's just say a quick hello to everybody in the chat.
Yep.
Paul, good morning. Oh, wow, indeed. Yeah, and obviously, like Malcolm said, we're possibly be facing our former left back that same evening, who could be making his Anfield debut against his former club. So that's a potential tasty one, isn't it? Good morning, Paul. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us as always. And Doug from the Dugout Football Channel, how are you doing, buddy? I hope you're well. So I'm sure we'll be doing some kind of preview together with between the channel and your channel at some point in the build up to the opening game of the season. Nick, watching at work though, I'm not supposed to be. Okay, Nick, we won't tell anyone. Thanks for joining us.
We won't tell anybody.
Paul, yep, the same. Couldn't be a much worse start, but at the same time, if we do well, it will be an amazing fixture list. And a comment here from Tommy: Liverpool first match could either be good or bad for momentum, and that's also a good point. If we were to not have the best of starts, it could have a bit of a negative impact. But let's have a look at the rest of the fixtures, Malcolm, just quickly. Moving on to September, we will then be at home to Brighton, double header at home. So we're home to Brighton on the 13th of September. And then the 20th of September, we'll be hosting Eddie and Newcastle United. For a trip away the following Saturday to Elland Road to face newly promoted Leeds. Malcolm, when you start looking at these kind of fixtures, I mean, I start trying to build a picture of, I know we obviously, like we just said, we still got the transfer window to finish and things like that, but I start to try and build a picture in my head, kind of where I would be expecting us to pick points up from. Do you do something similar to that?
Not at the start of the season. I try not to because as we mentioned off air, a couple of years ago, 2 seasons back, we were looking at where can we get some points from. And yeah, I suppose it makes people a little bit nervous one way or another. But after going through last season, it doesn't matter if the players change. There's more belief in the club going forward. We got our project. We know what we're doing. Just go for it. And no, I won't be looking at maybe a run of maybe 3-4 games and possibly how many points. I don't enjoy doing that sort of thing because it is what it is. Just take it game by game, perform to the best of the ability, and see how it pans out.
Yeah,
it's out of our control. It really is. So no, I won't be looking to see where we pick up points. I'm just going to enjoy the games as they come. Simple as that, really.
Yeah, no worries. Let's have a look at October. So October the 4th, Saturday, October the 4th. Obviously, there's a lot of Saturday fixtures at the minute because obviously not all the television coverage has been decided. So obviously all dates and times are subject to change. But that weekend we will be facing Fulham at home. Who we've had over the years. Obviously, both got promoted back to the Premier League at the same time. Before a trip to Selhurst Park last season, we had a couple of dire 0-0 draws from what I can remember against Palace. So it'd be interesting to see if they'd be more entertaining this season. And then we host Forest at home on Saturday, the 25th of October. And we'll all remember the home game from last season when we virtually picked them apart. Fulham, Palace, and Forest all to come in October. November. So Saturday, the 1st of November, currently scheduled, is a trip away to City, Malcolm.
Oh,
You're obviously going to want to earn their trophy back. Obviously, the trophy that they've had, consecutive. What was it? 4 or 5 consecutive years that they've had it. I'm sure they're going to be really up for challenging Liverpool this year. So that's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, City having a clear out, some of the old stock going, brought in some pretty decent players, to be honest with you. Who knows? I mean, they set the bar, didn't they? City with Pep, some wonderful football. I mean, I look at football as a sport, not as individuals or what they can do, what they can't do. It's just a joy to watch. Sooner or later, the bubble had to burst, but then you just couldn't keep the momentum going. Unfortunately, last season they handed over to Liverpool, but that will hurt them. That will hurt them, and they'll go again definitely. And Pep always comes up with a plan. If you go back to Andoni, he actually mentioned Pep in an interview. I think it must have been a pre-match conference that he had, and he actually said that Pep has 9 or 10 different ways or different tactics of playing.
Yeah.
He said, and you have to fathom out, what his plan is, and that's why during the games against City, things change so quickly, and Andoni obviously has to counteract whatever he's doing. So it's. I mean, I like what City have done in the players they brought in. Some real class. Another tough nut. It's not a question of we're going to go up there and beat them sort of thing, but compete against them. That's the thing. So you can always say maybe teams like Liverpool and Man City are like free hits, if you like, but it's on the day, and anything can happen, as we've shown last season. So yeah, a really great fixture, so
Yeah, no,
can't
definitely.
argue with it.
Yeah. Then another difficult one, Villa Park. We got to Villa Park on Saturday, the 8th of November, 3:00 kickoff. Villa, I think Villa is a side I've enjoyed watching, Malcolm, to be fair,
Yep.
over the last sort of couple of seasons. But I know the home game we had with them this last season was pretty disappointing, but I think they're definitely going to be chasing Champions League and European football again, aren't they? So that's again going to be another tough test. And I think if you look at that now and you come away, with a point from that kind of fixture, I think that's a pretty decent point.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Yeah, what Emery's done there is brilliant. Oh, sorry, Emery. I would really put Villa up as one of the top 6. They've improved, like you said, over the last couple of seasons, and they have been good to watch. They're good on the eye. They really are. I mean, if you're a football purist, yeah, you'd certainly enjoy going to watch them play. So definitely a top 6 prediction for me for them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, they could push it and get into the Champions League, but wait up. I mean, it's early doors yet, so lots of business to be done, and then we go in August. But yes, tough fixture always is, but we compete against these teams, don't we?
Yes.
It's that's the beauty of it. So I mean, they haven't steamrolled us, have they?
No.
So,
you're right. They haven't steamrolled us, but it's a side that you do expect a challenge against, don't you? They're no pushovers, and obviously,
good quality. Good quality.
Yeah. Just quickly, Joe, morning. Fixtures looking good. They certainly are. We're just discussing through some of the fixtures currently. Thank you for joining us. One home game that month, Malcolm, and that's against West Ham. who, since really, I think David Moyes going, I think, they've not been at their best. But I think for them, it's quite a key transfer window. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of West Ham side we'll be facing that day. I think from what I've seen on socials and stuff, there seems to be a bit of frustration, I think, from the fans that, with a lack of activity in the transfer window. But I know they've had a bit of a clear out. Some have been released from, their contracts have ended. And so it'd be interesting to see who Graham Potter brings in. And I think looking at West Ham last season and when Potter took over, I think you could tell really. I mean, I remember being at the West Ham away game and on the way back thinking, you can tell that Potter needs a transfer window to kind of make his mark on that team. So, with West Ham on the 22nd of November, it'd be interesting to see what West Ham side we're facing. And then we travel again to another promoted club, Sunderland, who I think everybody probably remembers that Matt Ritchie goal at home, that 35 yard screamer that went into the top corner during our maiden Premier League season. Clubs like Sunderland, though, Malcolm, I think, I don't think they're going to be, like a pushover or anything like that. I think they're going to be, and I think with their ownership and their manager they've got there, I think they're going to put up a real fight, Sunderland, this season.
Yeah, a bit of an unknown quantity, really. How they're gonna go. Obviously, Bellingham is off to Germany, isn't he? So for them that will be a big miss. But don't underestimate them. That is the thing. It is difficult coming up from Championship, as we know. Just look at the last couple of seasons. It's a bit of a riot, really. But I think Sunderland, if I could pick out of those that'll stay up, it would be Sunderland, as opposed to Leeds or So it's really strange how it's worked out, hasn't it? Because going through the playoffs, wasn't it? So amazing stuff. It is nice to look behind the scenes at some of these clubs, some that they're not always in the limelight. And see what they're doing. But as you so mentioned, and it's good to have them back up in the Premier League, definitely. Obviously for their noisy neighbours, it's going to be a nice battle. So it's that's going to be a fixture worth watching. Northeast Derby. That's pretty cool. Yeah, looking forward to it. But like I said, don't underestimate. That's the thing.
Yeah, totally. But let's have a look at December. So 3rd of December, Wednesday evening, currently, at home to Everton.
Okay.
Saturday, we have another home fixture against Chelsea. Before the following week, we travel up to Old Trafford to smash Man United 3-0 again. Tradition, no, only joking. Manchester United, I think another team, really, Malcolm, that I think the manager is in desperate need of a decent transfer window to really make his mark on the side.
Yeah. With Manchester, I mean, I've been following a couple of their fans' websites on YouTube. Really interesting to obviously not only what the fans say in the chat all the time with the lives and everything, but the feeling you get. I mean, it's not an easy club to support at the moment. Yes, they got Kuna in, but they've been after so many players. The list is endless, and this has been going on since since the winter transfer. Every time I watch the videos, and I think, my God, how many players do they want to buy? How much will it cost them? Is the other thing, because they're, it's not as though they got deep pockets, filled with cash, and they got players they really, really do need to offload. And then you look behind the scenes, and apparently it's quite toxic there. So it wouldn't surprise me that many players will say, "Well, thank you, but no thanks. I don't want to be put in that environment. I'd rather go to a club that's like a family club where everybody is the same and they all pull together as one. It's but then you've got to look up. It's not just the team, the manager. You have to look above as well. And the situation there is not very clever with those above, and they want them all out. But who's going to come in and buy the club anyway? Is the next thing. And when you've got that big cloud hanging over you, it doesn't make for a good atmosphere.
No.
But I did actually put my point across that it would take, 3, possibly 4 years for United to get back up to be maybe a top 5 club again. I think they can have an average season this season coming. Maybe pushed around about 10th. I wouldn't look a lot higher than that. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And one point on the manager is that he's just got one system and he sticks to it. He's quite stubborn in that respect. You have to be adaptable in the Premier League. If you just play one system all the time, you're going to get found out. So that is the way I see it with United. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a straight 3-0 again, joking aside. Things will have to improve because the fan base, they just won't allow it to happen. They really won't. Yeah. But it's going to be a good one to keep the eye on, I think. Manchester United this season coming up after what has been an absolutely dire season for them. And to be honest with you, they could have been relegated.
Yeah, they could have been.
With the form that they had and everything else and the internal problems and everything. Yeah, so I don't know with them. I don't think anybody really can actually hit the nail on the head. What needs to be done, because there's just so much, you have to prioritize what is the biggest issue, deal with that first, and then take the next issue as it comes. But yeah, good. Looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's all of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like you say, we've been saying for a little while, haven't we, how excited we've been for this day to come. And I know another man that's been excited for the fixtures list as well coming out is Paul in Oz, because Paul was actually coming over to the UK. But unfortunately, he's a bit disappointed because on his visit, he will only have the opportunity to see Bournemouth versus Fulham at home. And that is due to internationals, that is due to England games. But luck of the draw, I guess. Unfortunately, Paul, it was a shame. We were hoping you're going to have a couple of games. I'll speak to you soon, Paul. And
well, I think you'll see a win. I think you'll see a 3 points there. So hope you enjoy it, Paul, when you come over.
Yes. Let's hope so. Let's hope it's 3 points anyway for you, Paul. Manchester United, 13th of December. 20th of December, Saturday, we welcome Burnley to the Vitality. So Mr. Parker, if still in charge then, which I think he will be. I think he's done a good job at Burnley, a great job at Burnley. So it'd be interesting to see Scott come back to the Dean Court dugout in the away dugout. Now, no game on Boxing Day, which is good for me because that's my 40th birthday. But it will be a trip the next day to Brentford on the 27th of December, unless there's any fixture changes. And then the day before New Year's Eve, the 30th of December, to round off 2025, we will then have a trip to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea. That's the December fixtures. It's sort of it's very, we all know it's quite congested around the December mark, isn't it? And I always think December fixtures are very, very key. Some big teams there, Chelsea twice. is going to be, a big test. But I'm quite confident there we should have a fairly decent December. Let's take a look at January 2026 then. And yes, two big ones. To start with, Saturday the 3rd of January, we'll be playing Arsenal at home. And we'll all remember the Arsenal home fixture from last season. And I'm sure we can do it again. Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Before we welcome Spurs on the Wednesday, we welcome Spurs to the Vitality on the Wednesday. Obviously, subject to change all these fixtures, as we all know. A trip to Brighton, Saturday the 17th of January. Nice setup at Brighton, actually. It's one of those stadiums I do like to go to, Brighton. It's a lovely stadium. Nice little setup they've got there at Falmer. Before we welcome the champions, the current champions to Dean Court, Vitality Stadium, whatever we call it these days, on Saturday the 24th. They could be potential champions-elect then, possibly Malcolm, or they might be in a head-to-head battle with City, which I think that might be the case this year. Playing Liverpool season, every season's a lovely joy to watch, isn't it, Malcolm? When you think back to over the years, it's a joy to welcome all these big sides to the Vitality, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so. It's what we dream of. To compete with the best, and it doesn't matter if you get your favourites or not. As a football fan, you want to see the best. Wonderful, it really is. These players you see on TV week in, week out, what they can do, and then actually to go and see them in the flesh. Yeah, it's something I dream of. I was still waiting. It is what it is, and it's just something that you can, I suppose, as football fans and everything, you pass it on, don't you? It's in your blood, and you say you're 40, and then in 10 years' time, I say, wow, look back at the players you've already seen.
Oh, God,
maybe in 10 years' time, and you say, crikeys, I've seen all these players play, and little things will click in your head. Oh, I remember that, or whatever. It's you can't take anything away from that, and it's brilliant. It really is. I just feel sorry for those that can't get tickets, and that obviously wish, that the capacity was bigger. Obviously, it can't be straight away. Appreciate all that, but nevertheless, keep it going. Bring them on. Bring them on.
They're well on to working on that now, aren't they? So
yeah.
It would be more availability. Saturday the 31st of January, we go to Molineux to face Wolves. So that wraps up January. Just very quickly, in the chat, got to get a ticket. Yeah, that's yeah, I know. Malcolm might be able to help you on that one actually, with the worldwide Cherries.
I actually mentioned that earlier to Paul. Yeah, to register for a global ticket.
As it global Cherries, isn't it?
But there's no guarantees with it. You see, that's the problem. You register and you wait for them to contact you.
Right. Oh, okay.
Good luck with that, Paul.
Yes.
Hope it works out.
Any idea on the points banding for this year? I haven't personally seen it, but I think now the fixtures are released, I'm sure that we will see that imminently. What the bandings are for this year. I'm sure it'll probably be fairly similar to last year, just slotting in the teams that have obviously been promoted. But who knows? I haven't seen it yet. So, but I'm sure that'll be out very, very, very soon. If it isn't out already, but I haven't seen it. Okay, let's have a look at February. So February begins Saturday, the 7th February, with a home tie to Villa. Before we go to Everton's new stadium, they've named that now, isn't it? What have they called that? They've named it. I've seen it. Is it something about the Docklands they've named it after, isn't it? Or something like that?
It's a company's name, isn't it?
Oh, is it a cut? It's got a sponsorship, is it? Right. Yes, isn't it some solicitors or something like that? Or some company anyway. But
yeah, whatever.
yeah, it's, I don't know if you've seen it. Malcolm, I don't know if you've seen much footage of the new stadium, but it looks
Yeah. Brilliant.
and it's going to look like a wonderful stadium to play football in. It's going to be interesting to see as well how they adjust to being in that new venue, because when you've got something so historic like Goodison Park, and the club's been there for what was it, over 100 and something years. I know originally they didn't originally play at Anfield, wasn't that the story? And then they moved out of Anfield to Goodison Park, I think is the story.
Right,
If there's any other fans watching, then drop it in the comments. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust, Malcolm, isn't it? Because it's not always easy moving into a new stadium and creating the same atmosphere that you've sort of always had in the old one.
If I remember rightly, when actually saw a video on this with deflection of sound, so in the roofing or whatever, the top tiers or whatever, that they want to try and keep the atmosphere as close to Goodison as they possibly could. So that was all part of the design. I just think it's absolutely amazing stadium. And Everton fans, they're very, very passionate. Forget about the red and blue. They really are, and they want the best for their team, and they get behind them even when they're poor.
Yes,
they will still get behind them, and it's going to be a wonderful experience, I think, for any Cherries fans going up there. Good luck and enjoy the day out, because it is wonderful new stadium. The only downside is, I think they said it's from the distance from the city centre, it's a bit further, bit of a trudge down, and I don't think that the transport system there is brilliant for them. But it is what it is, and I'm sure they will sort something out for not only home fans but travelling fans as well. So
yeah,
but I'm looking forward to actually seeing it. Seeing the first game, obviously on TV.
yeah,
and picking it up there. It looks very impressive, I must admit.
yeah.
I'm not sure what the capacity is, but yeah.
I can't remember. Sorry, Malcolm. I can't remember on that one. But yeah, but that's a midweek trip for the Cherries fans currently. It's Wednesday, the 11th of February, up to Everton. And then there's a break. I believe that's an international break there. I think that might be the last of the World Cup qualifiers, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. But we then travel to the London Stadium to face West Ham United on the 21st of February. Obviously, like I've said many times, all subject to change due to TV coverage, etc., etc. Saturday, the 28th of February, that's when we face Sunderland at home. So, yeah, a bit of a mixed bag there for February. Let's have a look at March. Brentford at home. Brentford at home on the 4th of March, Malcolm. Brentford have always seemed to have been a bit of Achilles heel for us, haven't they, at times?
They certainly have.
Yeah.
Is there any news who's going to take over?
From what I've seen, I don't know if anyone wants to pop it in the chat if they know any more, but I think they were on about internally promoting.
Okay.
Which I think they've done on several occasions at Brentford. Obviously, Thomas Frank was an internal appointment. So, and I believe who was before him, the guy who eventually went to Villa. I forget his name, but I think they're quite keen on internal promotions at Brentford. So I know some of the coaching staff have gone, but there's one member of the coaching staff who they seem quite keen to appoint, and it seems to work for Brentford. It seems to work well. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they follow, that tradition that they've got there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because Thomas Frank has been such a, he's been such a nucleus of that club so long. And obviously he's been the man that's brought them to the Premier League and stabilised them there. Like ourselves towards the end of the season were, chasing towards Europe. So, yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's just have a quick look at some of the comments here quickly. Paul, I'll even sit on the Ted Max. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know for those fans that are watching it, remember before there was any stand there, or even when there was just a temporary stand without a roof, there's a tree behind. Well, I don't know if the tree's still there now. I can never remember because obviously they've developed the training ground and all that since then. But there was a tree, and you used to be sat in the north stand, and you could see there'd be like 4 or 5 people that used to climb up the tree and watch the games.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no tree there now, and even if there is, Paul, I don't think you'll be able to see anything. So I think the roof's probably your best bet. 52,888 is.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for
that. Yeah, cheers for that, Paul. Thank you. And Paul is also saying, Craig, is at this moment negotiating for O'Neill to get the job? Yeah, I think he was actually linked to somewhere else, wasn't he? Wasn't he not linked to Sheffield United and now not going there? Anyway, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, so that's the first game of March, 4th of March, again, which is scheduled as a Wednesday night, but obviously, like I say, subject to change. Before we travel up to Turf Moor on Saturday, the 14th of March, 3 o'clock kickoff, and then we welcome Manchester United on the 21st of March for a 3 o'clock kickoff. So that's March. So now, really, at the business end of the season, Malcolm. And here we go. So we have a trip to the Emirates in April, April the 11th, before a long journey up to Newcastle United to play Eddie Howe's Newcastle on the 18th of April. And then Saturday, the 25th of April, we're scheduled at home to Leeds United. And then let's have a look. Could we be chasing Europe again by this time? Who knows? But if we are, these are the fixtures we'll be facing in May. We'll have Palace at home on the 2nd of May before a trip to Craven Cottage on the 9th. And then hosting Manchester City. Our last home game of the season is Manchester City.
Brilliant.
So we start with Liverpool away. And our last home game is Manchester City. So we could play some part in a potential title decider. Who knows? Or it could be all over by then. Who knows? Before we finish up the season at the City Ground with Nottingham Forest on Sunday, the 24th of May at 4 o'clock. And that's probably, out of all these fixtures, apart from the opening games, is probably the only one that definitely won't change because they're always on a Sunday at 4 o'clock or always on a Monday, all scheduled at the same time. So that's the fixtures, Malcolm. Obviously, this season, we're going to, this pre-season, we'll do our tier list show sort of towards the end of July, early August, where we discuss and basically build where we feel that Bournemouth will finish being the most important one, but we do it for the whole league. Last year, we predicted Bournemouth to finish 10th. They finished 9th. So, Be interesting to do that a little bit later on in the pre-season. But Malcolm, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, my pleasure. My
It's
pleasure.
been nice to run through the fixtures with you.
Yeah,
Now it's a case of just itching for it to start, isn't it? Now we've seen the fixtures, we just wanted to get it underway.
well, it's all there in black and white now, isn't it? So let's get some business done before the ball is kicked and see
Yeah,
and then see where we stand.
yeah,
But no, I'm positive. I'm positive about the season coming up.
yes,
Um,
yes, very much so. Yeah, got to build on last season again as we done from the season before. So, just like we always say, isn't it, Malcolm? It's just completely positive and
yeah, I think so. You've got to have that belief going in
yeah,
straight away. So the players must have it. So why shouldn't the fans have it as well?
yes,
There's going to be ups and downs. Always is. It's
oh yeah,
football. So it's a great start. Just to see us play against the champions. First game of the season. That
yeah,
unbelievable. That is.
yeah.
Not
I
what
mean,
everybody would want, I would think, but you have to play them sooner or later. So
that's it. This is it, and it's a great opening weekend, really, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing like the opening weekend, is there? I just love it. It's great to have friendlies and things like that throughout the
yeah,
preseason. It never feels the same, does it? And then you get your first game, and obviously we're facing Liverpool at Anfield on the Friday night. It's going to be televised. Um, it's great because I'm seeing some of my Liverpool friends later on tonight, so I'm sure they're going to have some banter. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. And then you look at the rest of the opening weekend. Villa play Newcastle,
yeah.
12:30 kickoff on the Saturday. That's going to be a tasty encounter because both of those sides are definitely not going to want to start the season badly. You've got Brighton, Fulham. Forest will play Brentford. Now, for Brentford, that's going to be a key game. Obviously, a new manager in place. They're going to want to start off well. Sunderland welcome West Ham. Tottenham welcome Burnley. So two promoted sides there with fairly decent tests. It's going to be Thomas Frank's first game in the Premier League for Spurs. So he's going to face Scott Parker. Wolves then welcome Man City at 5:30 on the
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
So City kick off there. Chelsea welcome Palace on the Sunday at 2:00. And as we touched on earlier, United welcome Arsenal to Old Trafford for the 4:30 kickoff. And then Leeds United, they kick off their season. They've got to wait until the Monday to kick off their season at Ellen Road against Everton at 8:00. So Everton won't actually have their first game in the new stadium until they face Brighton on Saturday, the 23rd of August. So it's probably best that they probably have their first game of the season away from home anyway, with the to make sure everything is ready to go at their new stadium. But that's the first weekend, and like we say, Paul, Malcolm, we're
That's
both
me.
excited. I'm just going to bring up a comment from Paul in Oz. Thanks for the effort, guys, and your great passion for Bournemouth. Paul from Oz, it means a lot to a lot of people. Yeah, thank you, Paul, for your nice comment, and always thank you for joining us. It's
Thanks,
always
Paul.
great to have you, and I'll speak to you soon. I'll send you a message. And we'll catch up soon because obviously myself and Paul are working on a show that will be coming out over the pre-season. So yeah, stay tuned to the channel. Obviously, we've got Cherry AM. We apologise, Cherry AM wasn't out this morning, but we'll be back tomorrow for definite, and Friday as well this week. So yeah, Cherry AM will be back and we'll continue going forward throughout the pre-season and into next season as well. There's some other shows coming up throughout the summer. Like I said, we've had the tier list show towards the end of the summer. There's another show with Johnny Blair, a cherry picking special that's being worked on at the minute. So there is some more shows to come up. But yeah, Malcolm, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
All that's
me
left to
too.
say is, well, up the cherries, and
Yeah.
look forward to this new season.
See you Friday.
And see you Friday. Yeah, cool.
Up the cherry.
Up the cherries indeed. Up the cherries indeed. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining. And
Take care, everyone.
cheers.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.